Hey guys, Yumon Eaton here, Dragon Pharma coach and athlete. Today is February 8th, and today marks the second week of my official prep for my professional debut in the IFBB Pro League. So just finished up training a client, and before we dig a little deeper into my plans for this year, my prep leading up to my first pro show, I'll give you a little backstory and a little history on me. So a lot of people like to ask me how I got started in bodybuilding. You know, it's not a typical sport, and we all have an origin story. So basically, the only reason I started weight training was to prepare for high school football, and that's it. I hated training with weights, absolutely hated it. I actually faked an injury in high school so I didn't have to do the weight training. That's how much I hated it. But you know, over time it grew on me. And when I was in college, I got into powerlifting after football, and I was recruited through powerlifting to compete in a local bodybuilding contest. And the rest is history. So I started competing in college, like I said, actually graduated in 2009 from Florida State University. And it was that year that I competed in collegiate nationals, the NPC collegiate nationals in Pittsburgh. And I actually won the overall at that show. And I think it was then that I realized that this was for me. You know, I had found my niche. I didn't really know what I was gonna do in life, even though I did have a degree. You know, I just kind of did the thing that you're supposed to do. You go to college, get an education, go do a regular job, 8 to 5, and then you die, you know? And I didn't want that. You know, I wanted something different. And you know, I fell in love with this sport, and I realized that this is what I wanted to do with my life. This was my passion. And you know, I was always told that this isn't a sport that you can make a living in, and bodybuilders don't make money unless they're at the very top. And you know, I heard all of that, and I didn't listen. You know, I tend to be a stubborn person, especially when it's something that I'm really passionate about and something that I'm driven towards. And bodybuilding was definitely that thing. So, you know, I didn't listen, and I pursued this relentlessly with everything I had. But like I said, it was at that point, after winning the collegiate nationals in 2009, that I think I kind of realized, like, hey, like I can do this. This is something I can do, you know, for a living and have a future in this. So that's kind of when I started to really dive in to bodybuilding, and you know, start to look towards the future and a possible career as a professional. You know, it took a little longer than expected. I had an injury derail me in my progress for a little time. I had to take about 3 years off, but you know, I'm back. I came back stronger, and I ended up winning my IFBB Pro card in 2020. And like I said, it took a little longer than I wanted it to, but you know, looking back on it, I can honestly say, I can genuinely say that it may have been a blessing in disguise, because if I had won my pro card, you know, at 25 or, you know, 26, 27, or, you know, earlier than that, I don't know how serious I would have taken this, and I don't know how devoted and disciplined I would have been, you know, at 25, because I didn't have it here. You know, I thought I did, but I didn't. I didn't realize until the last couple of years what it really took to be successful in this sport at this level. You know, I'm literally just now figuring this out, and I'm taking that mindset into my prep for my first pro show. You know, I basically relied on my genetics for a long time, and as we get older, you know, you can't continue to do that. And at the next level, you know, genetics are great, but that's not going to make you a champion. And I had to learn that the hard way. You know, I got tired of getting beat by guys that I knew I could beat. I got tired of getting beat by guys that I knew weren't better than me. And something just clicked in my head. You know, I realized at that point, following my injury that I don't have forever. And that's the thing, when you're young, you always think there's more time. There's next year, the year after, until this injury happened that was supposed to be a career-ending injury. At that point, I kind of realized tomorrow is not guaranteed. And if I'm going to make this move, it needs to be now. So my mindset has completely changed. And like I said, I'm taking that mindset into my preparation for my first pro show. And I mean, I'm leaving no stones unturned. I mean, this is the absolute most focused I've ever been on anything in my entire life. And I can say that honestly. I've never, ever been this focused on anything at all. And you know, that's what my goal is, to win, absolutely win, and obliterate the competition, you know, at my pro debut. I want to make waves. My goal isn't just to show up and be a participant. You know, I'm going there to fucking dominate. This is the first time I'm putting it out there. I will be making my pro debut at the prestigious New York Pro on May 21st, 2022. I hired Jose Raymond to coach me. Like I said, my mindset is completely different here. I've never worked with a coach before, and I've done everything myself. And I've realized that at this level, I'll need to be the best I've ever been in order to do exactly what I want to do, and that's dominate. So I'll be working with Jose Raymond, the 212 legend himself. Jose and I have a really good relationship. There were a lot of things that led me to contacting him about working with me. And, you know, we just vibe well. It's not only his philosophies on training, which we're pretty much on target with. You know, I agree with virtually everything he says, but it's his personality, you know, the person he is, his character. You know, we just get along really well, and you know, I like Jose a lot, and it's someone I respect tremendously. I knew if it was going to work with someone, it had to be someone that I look up to, someone I admire, and someone I respect, and that is Jose Raymond. Jose and I met for the first time at the first show I did when I came back, returned from my injury, which was the Caribbean Grand Prix in Bermuda. Jose had an athlete there, and I actually beat his athlete. But before we went on stage, I remember Jose coming up to me, and you know, keep in mind, this guy's a legend, you know? He actually came up to me backstage, shook my hand, and said it was a pleasure to meet me, and he was a big fan of mine. I'm blown away. Like, you're a fan of mine. I'm nobody. You know, you're Jose Raymond. And he told me that he had seen what Dragon did, you know, leading up to that show. We did something very similar to this, a documentary series leading up to that show, as, you know, my return to the sport after being off, sidelined by injury for years. But anyways, he said that he had been watching my progress, and you know, he had his eye on me, and that was our first meeting. So, you know, over the years, I'd seen him, you know, speak about me, in all positively, you know, on you know, podcasts or, you know, whatever it was, IG Lives. And, you know, I never really knew why he had such interest in me, but I knew that he saw something in me that I hadn't even seen in myself yet. So that's what drove me to contact him. And, you know, when I did contact him, you know, he sounded more excited about, you know, our potential partnership than I was, you know, and one thing led to another, and here we are. You know, we're we're going to be working together for my pro debut. And it was actually Jose's idea to do the New York Pro. And, you know, when he told me that, I was a little taken back because, you know, I was just like, that's a really big show. It's the third biggest show in the world, behind the Olympia and the Arnold Classic. So it's like, you know, that's going to be my pro debut. And he basically said that if you do everything right, I have no doubt in my mind that you can win this show. He said, I have no doubt if you do everything right that you can win this show. And he basically said that New York loves freaks. And he said, and Yumon, you're a freak. He said, you're gonna be the biggest guy out there. He said, nobody's gonna have wider shoulders, and we're gonna make sure you're the hardest fucking guy on stage. And he said, and that's what's gonna bring this home for you. He said, we go to New York. He said, that's where you make a statement. That's where you put your foot down and put the rest of the category on notice. And I thought about it for a little bit, and it didn't take long. I mean, when I say thought about it, I mean for about 5 minutes. And I said, let's do it. You know, let's do it. Let's make it happen. He basically said that this is the show that your name gets out there. You show the world who you are and that you're here to make a fucking statement, to make noise. So, like I said, it was Jose's idea, and I'm here. I agreed, and here we are. New York Pro, May 21st, my pro debut. All right, guys, so there is one thing that I'd like to get off my chest before we conclude this video. A lot of people have been asking why I decided to take a year off after winning my pro card before making my pro debut. I mean, I'm getting messages all the time. When are we gonna see you on stage? When are you competing again? Where are you? Why are you taking so much time off? And hopefully, you know, this can be some advice for some of the younger viewers or competitors as well. All right, so I don't wanna be one of those guys who steps on stage unprepared, ever. I notice a lot of people win a pro card and they immediately jump into a pro show. This is an entirely different level. This is the next level up. And I wanted to make sure that the next time I stepped on a stage, I could win, period. I don't compete for second, there's no reason to. I wanted to make sure the next time I was on stage, I was prepared. I wanted to make the necessary improvements needed to make sure I was the very best I can be on stage. So I took a year off to improve the areas of my body I felt needed the most improvement, to add some quality size, and just overall growth. So that's the reason I took a year off. I didn't just want to jump into a show just for the hell of it. I don't just want to be there. If I'm there, I want to be a true competitor. I want to be someone who can potentially win, period. And that's the reason. And I believe that I was successful, and I believe that was the absolute best decision I could have made, because I've definitely put on more size. Mentally, I'm a different person. I'm more focused, I'm hungry. And you know, I'm just ready to dominate at this next level. And I wasn't able to do that a year ago. And today, I feel like I'm able to. So that's why I took a year off. All right, guys, so this concludes episode 1 of my road to my pro debut. I hope you guys enjoyed it. On the next video, we'll get more in depth with my training, food, and, you know, details surrounding my prep. But before we're done, I'm gonna do my absolute best to get the Boston Mass on this channel. So stay tuned. If you guys like this video, please don't forget to like, comment, and hit the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one.